surprise, I'm back. So that was the first hour, as I just noticed, because I'm kind of like, oh, what happened there? And I was like, oh, that's what happened. It's first hour is done. So with that being said, I'm just going to continue where I left off, and thanks everybody for joining. For those who are coming back and noticed and said, oh, what happened? Well, we're back. We're back. So as I was mentioning with Josh and regime, schedule, game plan, teamwork makes the dream work. That's what came to mind just out of nowhere earlier this afternoon when I was posting some thoughts or writing down some thoughts on how elemental that is and how teamwork is huge for all of us to embrace, really. Because teamwork does make the dream work. Teamwork, it's all about that. It's all about us coming together and really putting aside our own agenda and really coming down to, hey, this is what's going to make everything work, and this is what's why it's going to work. So, and then last but not least, in regards to Josh's health is wealth. I coined that while we were talking earlier last week, and I had mentioned quite a few times during the podcast as well that health is wealth. This is something that we have to be accountable for and take into consideration, regardless of pandemics, regardless of injuries. We all have to take in consideration that our health is our wealth. And then last but not least, on the episodes, episode 10, I should say, his episode was last Wednesday. So it was the first week where I did back-to-back, and I will continue to do so. Hey, what's up, Kyle? See you there. So I can take some time. Everyone that was waving, I saw all the waves. I'm waving back when I can. During the first hour, as I'm welcoming everybody back, just talked and just stopped talking because something happened. I realized, time flies when you're having fun. As cheesy as that is to say, it's the truth. Time flies when you're having fun. So I was just wrapping up for those who are joining back, just on my thoughts with Josh, guest number 9 from last Tuesday, and I was summarizing health is wealth, regardless of what stage we're in. I've been the same size since since high school. I've been 5'10". Give me 6 feet when I got my cowboy boots on, but I've been 5'10" barefoot, let's say, and 165 pounds. Give or take, my whole life. Not everyone is that. Not everyone is, a bodybuilding type. Not everyone is skinny, small, heavier. Regardless, you get where I'm going with this. Kind of over explaining, but it's just what Josh brought to the table. Being a nutritionist is not everyone has to look like they've been chipped from granite. Not everyone has to look as skinny as a rail. Everyone's got a different body shape, body type. It's about what you're putting into it and what you're doing to maintain whatever your comfort level's at. How about that? How about summarizing it like that? That's how I feel I should. Because we all are different body types, different shapes, sizes, and we love each other for that. We're not, it's. I saw a great quote from a good friend of mine who runs Char Fitness. Shout outs to Andrew, who runs Char Fitness. He'll be a guest in August, kind of letting the cat out of the bag, but he'll be a guest of mine in August. But he had posted today, be your best self because everybody else is taken. Be your best self because everybody else is doing their own thing. Be you. It was something along those lines, and I quote. Everyone, it was just amazing. I'm reiterating, but I was just so happy to see something like that. And him being Andrew, coming from the fitness world at Chara Fitness and running a gym and being a gym owner and being active himself with sports and such. And then speaking with someone like Josh, who's on the nutrition side of things, and hey, what's up, Chris? And being on the nutrition side of things, and the bodybuilding side of things. One point he hammered home last Tuesday was he may look a certain way. That doesn't mean someone who's heavier or skinnier or whatever should feel any less of themselves. It's more about what are they doing to maintain their health, regardless if they're bigger, smaller, shorter, or taller. We can't all be the same person. That would be kind of boring now. That's kind of me thinking out loud, but it's true. This is all about being candid and being forthright, honest about things. And to have someone come to have their own episode and be on the podcast talking in those terms, health truly is wealth. So, last but not least was Kevin Hogg. Kevin Hogg, lead singer of Invisible Friends, Bright Righteous, started out in the Revival. Met Kevin at the, as I like to call it, the new PAL, when the PAL got converted, PAL squared, however you want to word it, back in 2014, I want to say, 2013. Watched this guy like just walked in. It was during a set with the Bright Righteous, and shout out to the boys in Bright Righteous, and yeah, it was just mind blowing. Everyone has their personality from what I saw. I processed things that way, but of course he was the leader of the band and just stood out, and I waited to talk with him, and next thing you know, we're really good close friends now, and that was 6-7 years ago, and now he's living in Los Angeles making dreams reality, but always has been, and that comes down to belief in himself with music. I coined the term music is the soundtrack of her life. I've heard it before. It's not my exact words. I have a tendency to over-explain and think out loud, so don't mind me, especially when there's not a guest and I'm just talking y'all, right? But music is the soundtrack of our lives, and I truly believe that music is a soundtrack to his life, and he makes every moment about that, and his experiences in life are tied to music. His admiration for music and others who have inspired him. Again, someone who I've learned about and has become a very close friend of mine, that their admiration for something silences their ego, because it's not all about themselves. And he is the architect of his own career. Being a musician myself, wearing many hats, Kevin is music. I have to say it like that. And he leads others to follow that in themselves. He is a leader in bringing that out in others, directly or indirectly. My words. And that's what I've noticed, both from a musician standpoint, watching another musician, to a fan watching a musician, to a person watching a person. Self-motivated. He comes from a family, as he'd mentioned last Wednesday, that wasn't musically inclined or that much interest in it, but he was self-motivated to say, you know what, this is something I love, and nothing's going to stop me from pursuing it. He doesn't seek approval, and that's what I learned about Kevin, not just as a musician, as a fan of his music, and being a musician myself to another musician. It's human to human. He doesn't seek people's approval. He's not opinionated in that way. He cares what people say or have I don't want to say opinion, but constructive conversation. But he's not about debate in the sense of one person or one element is better than the other, and that speaks volume for someone in his career path, field, especially being a leader of a band, being a public figure. A lot of people can learn from that, is what I'm saying. And he's adaptable. He talked about the band lineups and changes, and how much he loves all the bands he's been in. But when push comes to shove, the show must go on. We have to be adaptable. Is an ideology that he was mentioning last Wednesday. Input from others is taken as constructive rather than as criticism. Those are my words describing how I see Kevin as a musician, and that's so true to form. He'd rather have the conversation than critique others. Add advice to others when they ask it, or he'll tell them, rather than say you're doing something wrong. Because no one likes to learn from someone who's just pointing fingers. Of course not. And he is the exact opposite of that, which is amazing, and that's role model-esque, so to speak. Be willing to take chances. Here's a guy that went from Winnipeg to Los Angeles, and not on a whim, not on a, well, let's see what happens. He planned this out. He's very strategic, very clinical on how he planned this out. And to have him on the podcast talking about, on a proverbial pit stop right now because of what's going on with the pandemic, but still being able to disconnect from the glitz and glamour of Los Angeles, come back home and have that continuum of, I'm still going to practice, I'm still going to perform, I'm still going to carry on business as usual, but I'm going to have fun doing it. I'm going to treat it like day one, and that's an amazing trait, of course. Follow your dreams which fuel your passions, I'm trying to say. And surround yourself with positivity. And I know that both as being a friend of his, as well as circle of friends we have together. Surrounding yourself with positive people and people that are on a path, I want to say, of success. I want to say of the reasoning why they're here, why we're on earth, family, happiness, learning, accomplishments. and not getting anything distorted, and making sure that those who are not on those paths are not part of the circle. So never limit yourself, better yourself. I'll end on that. Was one of the biggest takeaways of a statement that Kevin had mentioned. So Kevin Hogg, thank you, my friend, for being guest number 10 on RoseNthorn Talk. Now, teamwork. That has been an ongoing theme throughout every guest I talked about that had their own spot, had their own episode. And I'm just going to read some thoughts on that before I conclude the night's festivities. We learn that from parents or guardians by watching them, listening to what they say, they teach, how they react. Good times, bad times, it shapes who we are and how we respond in those exact same scenarios. I'm going to read that one more time. I really want that to resonate. Not saying it didn't, but it's not that I want to hear the sound of my own voice, but this was really, within a minute, this came to me as a conclusion to the show tonight. So I'm going to read it one more time. We learn that from parents or guardians, we learn best by watching them, listening to what they say. They teach how they react. Good times, bad times. It shapes who we are and how we respond in those exact same scenarios. So, my final thoughts. Family is the catalyst of all of it. Every single one of my incredible, inspirational guests talk about family, talk about how important family was to them, for them, and continues to be for them. Family is everything to me, personally. Family is everything to my guests. It's incredible. That's all I can say. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Stay tuned for an advert either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm going to keep you all guessing for episode 11 as we embark together. It's not about me, it's about us. It's teamwork. As we embark together on episodes 11 through 20. All I'm going to say is stay tuned. It's going to be so much fun. These, I should say, because it's a little bit over an hour, about an hour and 15, I'm looking at the clock now, of episode, let's just call it RoseNthorn Talk, episode reflections of. We'll be replaying on my Instagram as a post. I think out loud a lot, as you can tell, now that you all know that about me now after tonight, if you didn't know already. I will be replaying on my Instagram posts indefinitely. It'll always be there. And on my YouTube channel, I'm going to upload this episode where you can find all the episodes. Share them. Do what you got to do. I love all of you for watching always. Whether you pop in for 2 seconds or watch the whole episode, it's irrelevant to me. It's the fact that you're supporting me. You see this is who I am and that I'm bringing nothing but the best for you on so many different avenues in which our lives go and what will help each other out, whether it be Addison with purchasing your home, whether it be Josh and keeping you healthy, whether it be Kevin inspiring you to pursue your musical dreams, whether it be being your own boss, like Paige, and so on and so forth. I think you get the picture. Kind of don't want the episode to end. I feel that way about all the episodes, but the show will continue. We'll go on again soon. And again, I want to thank everybody. I love you all for it, for always watching. And you appreciate this, and I appreciate you for it. So, again, replaying on my Instagram. You can really tell I don't want the episode to end. It'll be replaying on my Instagram indefinitely, as I said. It'll always be there, and I will always be here for all of you. Have a great night, and we'll talk soon. Bye.